Right, hello and welcome to the news update on VOP TV. I'm Moses Humphrey. The federal government has called on the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC to suspend its proposed two-day nationwide warning strike over economic hardship. The appeal was made by the Minister of Labour and Employment, Simon Lalong, during a press conference held in Abuja yesterday. Recall that the NLC had announced plans to begin the two-day warning strike from September 5 to September 6, which is today, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Additionally, the NLC threatened to launch an indefinite nationwide strike within 14 working days, or 21 days from when their communique was issued, unless the federal government addressed the prevailing suffering among Nigerians. Lalong stated that the appeal was important in maintaining open communication channels with Nigerians, especially organized labor, to prevent any disruptions in industrial peace. He expressed concerns that the planned strike could potentially reverse some of the gains achieved by the current administration. He also stated that the government will continue to implement policies aimed at creating substantial employment opportunities across various sectors of the economy. Furthermore, he stated that he had not yet received official communication from the NLC following its NEC meeting as required by law. He encouraged the NLC to follow due processes for addressing such matters since the cabinet is ready to engage. Lalong concluded by assuring that all issues raised by the NLC would be carefully examined one by one. In the same vein, the federal government has set a two-week timeline on wage award, tax exemptions, and allowances to public sector workers to cushion the pains and anguish they are going through as a result of subsidy removal, as put forward by the Trade Union Congress. The government also agreed to iron out the modalities of accessing the intervention fund that was recently announced as palliative to micro, small, and medium enterprises. The Congress stated that only the federal workers had not benefited from the palliatives rolled out by the government so far. President of TUC, Festus Osifo, noted this yesterday during a meeting with the Minister of Labour and Employment, Simon Lalong. But the leadership of the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC boycotted the meeting convened by Lalong, targeted at averting the two-day warning strike already declared by the NLC. Only the leadership of TUC, led by its president, showed up for the meeting. The meeting, which lasted about 30 minutes, the TUC ruled out any plans to join the two-day warning strike declared by the NLC. The Niger State Council of the Nigeria Labour Congress has directed workers in the state to boycott the Palliative Distribution Committee set up by Governor Mohamed Bago. The council, which kicked against Bago's plans for palliative distribution, stated that the pathetic situation in which the working class and pensioners find themselves in Nigeria, and Niger State in particular, leaves a lot to be desired. The state chairman of the NLC, Idris Lafene, and his counterpart in the Trade Union Congress, Ibrahim Ghana, addressed a press conference yesterday in which they lamented that the state governor had schemed out the working class and pensioners in the palliatives. They alluded to an understanding between the state government and organized labor that the working class would be included in the palliatives to ease their sufferings, and expressed concern that Bago did not come out clearly to include them in the first phase of the palliatives. While noting that the organized labor had proposed a 50,000 naira flat rate for workers in a meeting held with the governor, the State Administrative Council of the Organized Labor issued 9 demands expected to be met. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC Kano State chapter has shut down government offices and other facilities in the state. The state vice chairman of the union, Ado Rufai, who led the enforcement exercise, told newsmen that the power sector and banks were on the lock and key. He added that they are on their way to the airport to shut down its operations. The NLC had last week released a jointly signed communique by its national president, Joe Ajero, and secretary, Emmanuel Uguaja, that the union had decided to embark on a two-day industrial action due to the failure of the federal government to dialogue and engage stakeholders within the organized labor on efforts to cushion the effects of the removal of subsidy on premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol, on the poor masses. President Bola Tinubu and the candidate of the Labour Party in the February 25 presidential poll, Peter Obi, were upbeat yesterday on the outcome of the Presidential Election Petition Court, PEPC. The tribunal has fixed tomorrow for the judgment in multiple petitions filed on the results of the poll. The much anticipated judgment will be televised live, according to the Chief Registrar of the Court of Appeal, Umaru Bangari, who signed the statement announcing the judgment date. The petitions were filed by the Allied People's Movement, APM, Atiku Abubakar, and the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Peter Obi, and the Labour Party. Tinubu, whose victory was announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is being challenged, stated that there is no cause for worry ahead of the verdict. The presidential spokesman, Ajurin Galali, noted that Tinubu was confident that he won the election.
And as a result of his faith and confidence in the judiciary, he believes that the mandate which Nigerians freely gave to him during the elections will stand. And that is the position of the president. And he will continue to ensure that no matter what the outcome of the judgment is, that he does his part to ensure that our institutions continue to be respected, not just by him.
And that's the voice of Ajurin Galali, the presidential spokesman, speaking at an interview. The Lagos State House of Assembly will commence the screening of the second batch of nominees sent by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu today. Governor Sanwo-Olu yesterday sent the list of new commissioner nominees to the Assembly. The House, Mudashiru Obasa, urged the screening committee, led by Honorable Fatai Mojid, to ensure a thorough screening process and report to the House on Thursday. The clerk of the House, Barrister Olaliko Onofeko, read the letter from the governor listing the names presented. The governor stated that after careful consideration of the 17 names that were rejected, he decided to represent a list of nominees which includes a balanced selection of previously presented and new individuals. Sanwo-Olu noted that he is confident that the new nominees would bring fresh ideas that would help the growth and progress of Lagos. He urged the House to screen the nominees for clearance. In business, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, Nigeria has seen a significant surge in value-added tax, VAT, revenue in the first half of 2023, generating a staggering 1.49 trillion naira. The latest NBS report released yesterday noted that this impressive figure marks a remarkable 25% increase when compared to the 1.18 trillion naira recorded during the same period in 2022. Well, value-added tax, which is a consumption tax, is administered by the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, and the generated revenue is typically disbursed among the three tiers of government through the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee, FAC. The NBS report further highlights that Nigeria's VAT collection experienced a 10.11% growth in the second quarter of 2023, reaching 781.4 billion naira, up from 709.6 billion naira in the first quarter. Analyzing the data, local payments contributed 948.13 billion naira to this impressive total. with foreign VAT payments adding 233.8 billion naira, while 249.1 billion naira came from import VAT throughout the initial 6 months of the year. The report also delves into specific sectors, with the manufacturing industry leading the way by contributing the highest revenue of 281.1 billion naira. Now, this represents a remarkable 25% growth compared to the first half of 2022. Following closely is the information and communication sector, reporting 192.6 billion naira in revenue, signifying a 52% growth when compared to the same period last year. In foreign news, Israeli forces have ordered the suspension of all commercial goods leaving the Gaza Strip after an alleged attempt to smuggle explosives. Israel's military, which controls the crossing point between Israel and the Palestinian enclave, detected several kilograms of high-quality explosives hidden within a clothing delivery carried by 3 trucks at the Kerem Shalom crossing. The halting of all commercial deliveries from Gaza to Israel is being carried out to allow security adjustment to be made at the crossing. Palestinian border officials stated that they were told by Israel that the crossing would be closed until further notice. The Kerem Shalom crossing is the only point of export of goods from Gaza, which has been under a crippling Israeli blockade since Hamas seized power there in 2007. The blockade has exacted a huge economic toll, and most Palestinians in Gaza depend on foreign aid. The closure of the crossing point for goods comes amid raging tension in the occupied West Bank and spiraling violence that has seen at least 225 Palestinians killed so far this year. At least 32 Israelis, a Ukrainian, and an Italian have also been killed during the same period. And that's the news update on VOP TV. We'd like you to subscribe and engage us on YouTube. It is Voice of the People TV. And on other social media channels, we are at VOP TV Live. I'm Moses Humphrey. Good morning.